Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Brandy Brooks, and I am a candidate for Montgomery County Council at Large, and I want to thank you for having me here today to speak about the Bethesda African Cemetery. And I want to thank everyone who has been organizing to pursue justice for the descendants and community of those who have buried there. In my organizing work, we talk about a concept called political healers, people who use rituals and processes of our society to bring cultural trauma into the public memory. And so I want to thank the members of this community on River Road and many other communities who have held onto and preserved and fought for your history so that it remains in our collective memory. It is an honor to stand with you in that fight and to ensure that we acknowledge the full richness and complexity of who we actually are in Montgomery County. I am thankful, but I am angry. The Montgomery County Department's website on the Bethesda African American Cemetery is emblematic of the response that we've been hearing about from so many county officials. The chronology presented there is really an outline of the planning department's defense that they followed all proper procedure when it came to involving the Macedonia Baptist Church as stakeholders in discussion of the West Bar development plans. But this is not a question of procedure. Our history and our sacred sites are not a question of procedure. What I have yet to hear any public official do is to acknowledge the gross injustice that was committed on that site. Graves were desecrated. A community's history has been literally paved over and erased. And that erasure continues as public officials debate whether or not the cemetery really existed and whether or not any kind of action needs to be taken to right this wrong for the families whose ancestors are buried there. We see this pattern over and over again in the historically African American communities of Montgomery County, on River Road, in Tobytown, in Littonsville, in Kengar, on Farm Road in Sandy Spring. Communities have suffered decades of neglect. By urban renewal and redevelopment. It's the history of these communities, of the Black women and men who created homes and thriving commercial centers despite the racism and economic injustice that they face, has been eliminated from the narrative about Montgomery County's history and identity, as has the fact that not in ancient history, but within the lives of many people in this room, there were sundown towns in Montgomery County where I could not safely have walked as a Black person after dark. People erase these stories because they don't want to face the fact that not all is right in Montgomery County, and that we have a deeply embedded legacy of racial injustice, one that continues to this day in the racial and class segregation that persists in our county. We will not be erased. I need to say this, and thank you for being really gracious. We will not be erased. Whether we are Africans, Latinos, Asians, or Muslims, no matter what nation we come from or what language we speak, regardless of our gender identity or sexual orientation, and no matter how much money we make or have in the bank, we are Montgomery County, and our lives and our history matter. Thank you.